Hello, and welcome back to the Pez Pork Show. Today we just have the Pez Man and myself. We do not have a guest with the new time, and that is okay with me. Hello and good day, Mr. Pez.
You're right, Kelly. How's it going?
Going well. I can't complain. Had a good day.
Are you sure?
Watched this morning, or I tried to. I was a little sick after watching the Cowboys. I tell you, he did not look well at all on the offensive line. 3 starters are out. The defense looked lost without Diggs. I don't know what's going on with them. How was your football weekend?
Really good.
Yeah.
In my home league in fantasy, it looks like I'm going to pick my first win up. So nervously waiting for these 2 games to be over with tonight, so I can get that one in the books. And the Seahawks looked like they were going to make things difficult in the first half, but then came out in the second half and made the adjustments, what we wanted to see, and then comfortably just destroyed the Panthers. And that stadium was loud. I don't think I've heard that stadium that loud in such a long time. It was good to see again.
There's a lot of excitement in Seattle. Yes, it's nice to see. Seattle's a good place. I used to live in Washington State. And Seattle's a great sports town. Loyal fans. It's always good to see the Seahawks perform well, even they are not one of my favorite teams. It's nice to see them perform well. So, the first order of business we have today, of course, is the breaking news: a trade between my Pez Porkers and the I'm too small. The Juggernauts. I can't.
Is it the crew? The crew Juggernauts.
Yeah, the crew Juggernauts. So we have the new RB1 Gus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens and the rookie phenom Puka Nacua heading to the Porkers for DeAndre Swift and Drake London and $200 in FOB. And so we are going to hear from Craig first. What does Craig have to say about the trade? I'm a little nervous to find out.
Massive trade, really, isn't it? When was this one done? Was this done today, was it? Saturday, yeah. I would have thought it might have been done on Saturday because I think it might not go ahead today if that was the case. You know, Nico Collins, after the weekend he had, he started off real good. Michael Pittman going the other way. It's Pittman could do very well this year, you know, provided obviously Richardson stays in. And, you know, it's they've started quite well together. But I do love Rashawn Johnson, you know I do. And
I think this is the trade from last.
Kelly will be a non-factor.
A few technical difficulties.
What can I say?
My bad.
That's all right. I was thinking, where's he going with the Pittman?
Well, I was too busy enjoying the Dallas getting beat last night. I obviously picked the wrong one.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm sure everyone is celebrating the Cowboys' loss yesterday. I know I saw a few comments in the Orkney Bowl chat and WeChat. A lot of people celebrating the Cowboys' loss yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I'll get the slots for the next show, I promise you. Because I'm pretty sure they did leave a comment on that too. So I'll leave you to it.
So I'm not sure. I think we'll go ahead and go to your assessment here, Pez. What do you think of the trade? Don't hold back, my friend.
I don't. The concern with Puka Nacua is because saying that whilst we're on Puka Nacua from our last episode, I need to hold my hands up and say I was just like, no, 49ers are going to destroy him, and he got more targets, more points, more everything against the 49ers. Yeah. I think overall it's good because I don't know how you've managed to convince this guy to take Swift Drake and Drake London? Is it because of the money? Because anyone with eyeballs, like I played Kyle Pitts for 3 weeks. Like anyone with eyeballs knows the Falcons, you just don't want to touch them unless his wide receiver group is solid. And DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to find out tonight when they play that Gainwell's probably just going to go straight back in as the RB1. Maybe did enough in that one stretch, but they might just want to use him more sporadically because of like his injury history and stuff. Why, like, burn him out when you've got Hurts who runs, you've got Gainwell who looked good, he looked good. So I think you might then start seeing a real bad rotation. So Gus Edwards, he went out with a concussion, did he not, this week?
I think so. I know he left with the injury. I'm not sure what the injury is.
I think it was a concussion, if I remember rightly. So we'll see how bad that is. But really, on the face of it, like from week 3, I don't know. The 200 fab, I'm a bit new with the whole fab system and how much you use when it comes to like how important it truly is. I've not used it too much myself, but I think you've got a really good deal on your hands here, because even when Cooper Kupp comes back, I don't think it's going to be a case of Puka Nacua. I think he's going to take work off Kupp, not the other way around. Kupp's not going to take his work down. I think if anything, he's going to eat into Cooper Kupp's, because even when he comes back, they're not going to rush him back. What's the point? Like if he comes back and you've got a rookie who's doing what he's doing on less money, you're going to essentially burn the rookie out and get Cooper Kupp fully healthy, because he is a more valuable piece, essentially, isn't he? So I think on the face of it, you got the better deal in my eyes.
Appreciate that. It took us a bit of haggling to get here, just on my thinking of why I made the trade. I do like Drake London, but as any of his owners know, in week 1, I think we got 0 points from him. I'm not a huge Drake London fan. My team after this week is 0-3. So I'm thinking, let's shake it up. Let's go. Let's do something different. I'm thinking Gus Edwards and DeAndre Swift will end up being a push at the end of the year. Swift is always injured. The Philly offense, they like to use multiple backs. So I'm going with the exciting Puka Nacua. Let's do it. Rookie of the year. So, Johnny, do you have any thoughts real quick? I know your voice is not there. If you want to give a thought, that's okay. If not, we can move to the next segment.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find Craig's comments. I'll maybe try and put it on during the show if I can get a hold of it when I leave you two in the background. Well, I do actually. I prefer what you got, to be honest. Edwards is the number 1 running back. Even though Melvin Gordon did play not bad when he came in. And Drake, did Drake London come on? No, Drake. Kenyon Drake, did he play as well?
20 points or 17 points.
Was it Kenyon Drake who came in and looked very confused of what he was meant to be doing?
Yeah, well, he caught the ball. At least he ran the right way. So, but yeah, Puka Nacua is just even if and when Kupp comes back, he is still going to get the targets. Like, so
I'm happy with the trade.
DeAndre Swift he'll be the backup again. Or a change of pace. Obviously, they'll give it to Gainwell. He proved it. And Drake London, well, did he do any catches last night?
I don't know about week 3, to be honest. I have not seen his week 3 stats. I'll
see if I can pull them up quickly.
But I think he maybe had 1 or 2 catches, but not a lot. So it was not, another pretty game.
Because it was a Kyle Pitts targeted game and Jonnu Smith targeted game. He got
Smith.
6 targets, 2 receptions, 31 yards.
Yeah, 31. Yeah, so 4 points, maybe, I guess, 5 points.
Yeah, so
Jonnu Smith got more targets, more receptions, and more yards than him. Like, I think you've robbed that guy. The more you look at it and the more you think about it, I think you have, like, I don't know what negotiation you actually did there, because I just had a quick look on my league in the Oakley Bowl, and 200 fab, unless backup, like if Pollard went down or something like that. I don't know what your free agents are like, but
well, he paid
literally
$448 for Puka, I think. So he did not have any fob left.
why is he traded? That doesn't make sense to me then, because if you paid that much for a player, just keep hold of him. Because again, I'm not too big into the whole fab yet, but there's a few RB2s out there. But I look at my list and there's nothing on them lists where I'd be like, I wouldn't spend any money on them unless there was a big injury. So yeah, I don't see his vision without seeing his team as well. I don't see why he's even.
Well, he has a solid team, I think. I think he could definitely afford this trade. He could afford to lose Puka and Gus and not be hurt at all. I basically did this to kind of shake up my team. It's 0-3. I do think Drake, that is he could be somebody that could go on a tear starting in any game. He really could. But if it was a dynasty league, perhaps he might have a better. Drake London would have a higher value. But I'm okay with it. But I think DeAndre could also end up having a monster year. Miles Sanders did not have a bad year last year. I think a top 10 back with the Eagles. So, all right. So I think generally most here the consensus here is that the Porkers has a slight edge. However, we never know how Drake might turn out the rest of the season, and DeAndre can certainly have a breakout monster career year. So let's go ahead and go to our next segment that we are calling Treasure or Garbage. Is this the treasure player that just hasn't been able to come out and be found and start his fantasy career year? Or are they just pure garbage and they're not going to get any better this season? Who do we have up first, Johnny? Justin Fields. Is he treasure to keep or is he garbage to throw, Pez?
Oh, this is a hard one because it's still early days and we saw what happened last year after, was it 5 games where they were just like, right, he can only really play one certain way. We'll just play his way. It depends, doesn't it? It really depends what league you're in.
It's not that difficult. He's pure garbage. Get rid of him. If you own him, trade him now.
I don't think you'll get anything to trade him now.
Take Jameis Winston for it.
If we're talking about here and now, week 3 going into 4, he's garbage, and you need to drop him and just leave him on the waiver wire because he's even the Chiefs who don't really start hot on defense. We're just all over him. He's at the moment he's pure garbage.
Yeah, and the Bears are terrible this season. I don't see them getting any better.
I don't know what they've done.
Like he's like the old couch you see on the side of the road. The only people think that couch looks good are the people that don't have a couch already. The only people that like Justin Fields don't have a QB option. Throw him out in the garbage. Let's go to the next guy. Josh Jacobs, the hero for many fantasy owners last year, rode him to the championship. Is he treasured yet to be opened this season, or is he garbage, Pez?
Treasure. Don't give up on him yet. Solely because you look at last year, his monster year last year, he started off with single digits week 1 and 2, double digits week 3, and then from week 4, that's when he broke out and went off. And he's followed the same trajectory this year. You've got to remember, he didn't do any preseason training, probably came in overweight, probably needs to get match fitness. I reckon he's showing the same trajectory as last year because I'm sure last off season he was playing around a bit as well, wanting to get traded and not training and stuff. So next year, if you got Josh Jacobs next week, sorry, I'm all over the place here with my timings. Next week is Josh Jacobs' week. He's treasure.
It's breakout week next week for Josh Jacobs. On a side note, Pez, did you see the terrible scratching your head, shaking your head call from Josh McDaniels. Down 8 points with 4 minutes to go. Inside, I think, the 25-yard line. Let's kick a field goal.
Yeah, it's
what
so
was
backwards.
The man thinking?
But you got Devontae Adams, like, that's what he's made for. That's what makes that guy elite. And it's like your head coach is literally just turn around and go, I know it. I've watched us destroy Jimmy G for years. I know he's a terrible quarterback. Like, but Jesus, week 3 to turn around and go, I do not trust that man. I trust my defense to try and get the ball back. Like, Jesus Christ, that was a bad.
You can't trust him to get 5 yards. What makes you think he's going to be able to drive the field after you stop them? It made no sense at all. He is a garbage coach. Never would I want that guy on my team.
Such a bad move.
Terrible move. All right.
So what are you thinking? Treasure or garbage?
Josh Jacobs? I'm a 50-50 on this guy. I had him on probably 60-70% of my teams last year. And I traded him at the end of the season last year, knowing I would never get a first-round pick for him again. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to have more than 1,000 yards this season. He's going to have less than 8 touchdowns. He'll be a top 12, top 13 back, but his days as a top 5 guy is done. Trade him now if you can. He is
best
garbage.
getting traded then.
Let's go to the next guy. A Barrett? A Barrett? You can give your opinion in the comments there. Najee Harris. Oh my gosh, this guy is killing me, Pez.
He needs taken to the skip. He needs binning off. He's done. He's going to be an RB2 by the end of the year. Jalen Warren's just going to subside him in like at least 2 weeks. Awful. I don't know what's happened to him. He had so much promise.
To that, the Steelers' offensive line. I don't blame him alone. They're not really opening a lot of big holes for him, or even decent holes. However, it does seem like he's lost a little bit of the spurt, to fire through the hole. I watched a lot of this game. He did not look very good at all, to be honest with you. The whole Steelers offense. I will say Pickens, he looks like a star in the making, though. Pickett seems to start learning more and more each week. I think he can really have a solid year. But Najee, he's looking like the 2-week-old. He's looking like the 2-week-old leftovers you forgot about in the refrigerator. Pure garbage. Yes, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I remember hearing that he put weight on for this season to I can't remember why, but he put some weight on, and he can kind of tell like he doesn't look himself. It's like, has he just overthought something with his training and his body? Like, just go back to what made you good. But yeah, that Jalen Warren's week by week looking a lot better. He's looking a lot fresher. So yeah, I couldn't agree anymore with you. Chuck him in the bin.
Decline has been dramatic as well. I remember coming out of his rookie year, it would take 2 number ones at minimum to get that guy. I doubt you can get a second for him. All right, let's go to the next guy. Who do we have? I'm almost afraid to look. Dameon Pierce, the rookie sensation. I also had him on about 70% of my teams last year and traded him in most of my leagues for that number 1 draft pick. And I'm starting to wonder if I did the right thing with both Jacobs and Dameon Pierce. However, I want to know, what are you thinking, Pez? Is Pierce treasure waiting to be opened or garbage to be thrown out?
I think that people should just hold on to him for a little bit longer because they've had their O-line issues, but I think the Texans are going to be a sneaky team because at the start of the year, everyone's like, oh, they're still going to be garbage. But I love Stroud. I thought Stroud should have been the first overall, personally, myself. And he's showing it, isn't he? He doesn't look unfazed. And I feel like once he gets more comfortable, the O-line is an issue because Dameon Pierce is like he's running like through negative yards just to gain 2 yards at the moment. But I don't know. It's a hard one because if we're talking about here and now, he's garbage because he's done nothing. But if we're talking about bigger picture, I'd just keep hold of him a little bit more, but maybe not trusting starting him. I'd just keep him on the bench until you start seeing the signs that he's getting back to last year's form. That's where
I'm with you. I'm not ready to throw him in the trash heap quite yet. Second year player, sometimes they come out, they don't feel it right away in their second year. The Texans, I agree with you. I think they're going to get better week in, week out. And he's a good person to have on the bench as your spot starter or a replacement for an injury guy. There's a lot worse options than Dameon Pierce and an up-and-coming offense that the Texans have. Nico Collins, man. I've made fun of that Nico Collins trade in the first week, right? And I'm starting to think, oh, my God, what was I thinking?
No, I won't make fun of it because from what I saw from yesterday's game, Tank Dell's gonna be the number one in that team because Stroud asked for them to draft him. He wanted him, and you're starting to see it now. They have a really good chemistry together, and I think
I agree.
Collins, even though he'll get his games, but I think he'll be the wide receiver too. I think Tank Dell is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger in that team.
I think so. I think you're right.
Is that your first treasure as well?
I would say keep him as treasure. Keep him there in the jewelry box. Don't.
I thought you were going to chuck them all in the bin.
Oh man, nah. I'm a Pierce guy. I still like him, even though I traded him. All right, let's go to the next guy. I think we have two more. Yeah, I think there's one more. George Kittle. What are we thinking here, Pez? I know you're not a 49ers guy. Let's leave that hatred behind.
Yeah, we'll talk pure fantasy. Yeah. Because I put him in the bloody trash heap straight away. It simply with George Kittle, is Debo or Ayuk out? If Debo or Ayuk out, play George Kittle. That is my simple advice for George Kittle on your team. If Ayuk or Debo's out, George Kittle's going to have a monster game. Happens every time.
Like he's the fourth option right now. You got Ayuk, Debo, and McCaffrey, and Kittle's being an afterthought.
The thing is with Kittle, he's probably like the NFL's biggest team player. He does anything. Like he'll block anything. He'll be a blocking tight end. He'll run routes just to deception, just to create space. He'll do anything to help the team win. A true out and out team player. But I'd say treasure because Ayuk was out. He had a good game, and I think Debo looks like he's dealing with something at the moment. So I could suspect, depending on that Debo news, that you could have a good couple of games out of Kittle. So I'd say for now, I'd say treasure. I keep hold of him.
Kittle, if my memory is correct, Kittle tends to be one of those boomer bust guys. It's rare that he has just like 7 or 8 points. He usually has a quiet game or he blows up. And when he starts blowing up, it's 3, 4, 5 games in a row that he gets his numbers. I'm going to say treasure right here as well, Pez. All right. Who do we have next? Our last guy. Kyle Pitts, that we mentioned earlier in the Drake London trade. Is he the garbage that you want to throw away and never let the neighbors see? Or is he the treasure you want to give to your wife for your anniversary. How are we feeling about Pitts?
Oh man, I've suffered just. I watched him in college. If he was on any other team, he'd be spoke about as one of the best tight ends in the league for all 3 years he's played, because he is just a pure talent. But he is garbage solely because he's on the Falcons. Like, no, he's just garbage. I played him. This is the third week I played him this year because I thought the Lions. I watched the Seahawks tight ends carve them up. I thought if there's a game he's going to do it, it's going to be the Lions, and if he doesn't do it there, he's gone. So he's gone.
I'm with you on here. I have Kyle Pitts on several different teams, and the guy's killing me. I should have known better. For some reason, I was feeling like Ritter was going to have like this, be a mid-level QB and have a breakout type season. But yeah, that Atlanta offense, while it has the pieces to be explosive, if not one of the best in the NFL, I just don't see it happening anytime soon. I do still predict them to win their division, though. So I do think they have a solid team, and they can pull it off. But I don't think the offense is going to be as potent as I expected. I'm throwing him in the garbage.
It's the thing with the Falcons is it's like he plays like a Pete Carroll style, an old school style of run the ball, run it until the death, run, pass kind of style. But the league is far gone from that style of play. Like, you can't keep up with these teams anymore, like your Chiefs and your Bills, your Bengals, your Dolphins. Imagine the Falcons going up against the Dolphins trying to run Bijan and then pass when Ridder just overthrows his guys or misses his guys. They'll put 80 on him. Like, you can't. It's just they're always going to struggle because I just don't believe in that philosophy of offense anymore with the way the league is, with how aggressive these coaches are these days.
Well, perhaps
you've got Drake London, you've got Pitts, you've got Bijan, you've got Algier. Like, that's four. Like, that's a really good foundation of offense, and he just doesn't use him right, and the quarterback's probably not good enough to execute any of it.
I agree.
Garbage goes with the team.
Yeah, with the Falcons offense this year, I was expecting a lot more. As you can see, I had London on my team, and I bailed early. Unfortunately, I don't really have many options outside of Pitts on my other teams. It's just got to go with it, and it's going to make me cry every week. But if anybody listening wants to come and grab Pitts off of me in my other leagues, come knocking on my door. I'll be listening. And I think we have Craig's reaction now ready for the trade earlier. Let's see what Craig had to say.
Well, so DeAndre Swift, well, I am so dead against DeAndre Swift this year, but, numbers talk, and Drake London, he's got to, he's an elite receiver. He's got to come good. And the Fab's neither here nor there for me, to be honest with you. The Fab means very little, and I think anyway, to the tune of I spent 400 of mine this week, but we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. Pork's getting the Gus bus. He's on the choo-choo train. He's on the Gus bus. Yeah, you have to ask yourself for how long, though, because he's not got a history of being fit as the Gus bus, has he? And he's given away if we split it up one at a time, forget the Fab, and you say, Swift and Gus Edwards. To be honest with you, at this moment in time, I'd probably take Gus Edwards, given the fact, as you say, he's the only fit running back there. And I'm not a fan of Swift, and I think when Gainwell comes back, he'll then be slotted back in there again, I think. But Swift has been a very good case for himself. And Puka will have his good weeks, but he'll have his quiet weeks. Drake London already had a couple of quiet weeks, but I mean, he's a target. He's going to get. He's an elite receiver. Cup comes back, and he's had the most targets, but he's had the most targets in 2 games for a rookie in the history of the NFL, I believe. He was tied for it, and he did get into at least one more because he got 6. He tied for it at 16. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, Puka's he's a good pickup, but I'm looking at the bigger pick, looking at the fact that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think Drake London will do better than Puka down the road. I think Gus Edwards will do better than Swift if he stays fit.
Okay.
So it's one of
There
those
you have
ones.
it.
It's I think that Wales will come out very much on top because I think the Gus Bus will go down injured. And as you say, when Cup comes back, if Cup comes back, Puka will start slipping a little bit, and he will have his quiet weeks as well. It's not going to all be like that. Whereas Drake London will come on. The problem is,
Oh, okay. I think I know. I won't cut
It's
him off.
more off and on now. Like that's enough of that, man. You know.
I think. Well, Aberrant here says, our listener says he's loving the Drake. So there are certainly a lot of Drake London fans that are probably,
Yeah.
hating that trade that I made.
I don't. I disagree with him in the sense that I think people love the talent, but it's like just like in the treasure or garbage. Like I was umming and ahhing because of what Fields did last year. But you've got to forget about that. Like Drake London had a good end to last season with Ridder when they had nothing to play for and they were playing quite free and open, and Ridder had just come in and they're like seeing what he could do. So they were like, you just go out and play quarterback and show us what you can do, and if you're worthy of the starting role, is how I looked at it. And he had a good connection with Drake London. But we've seen it over 3 weeks. I know that, like what he said, it's a marathon. But if Johnny Smith's already getting targets over him now, how bad is it going to get before people turn around and go, yeah, you just can't touch a Falcons player? Like, unless it's a best ball where you don't have to, where the lineup's taken out of your hands, I wouldn't like Drake London on my team, to be quite honest. Like, could you imagine that nightmare of guessing when he could go off?
Yeah, it's that is what I was thinking. If I'm going to have a player that I'm going to be guessing, I want to be excited for that guy every week. So I went all in on the Puka trade. So, but again, I do like London. I was surprised the guy agreed because, well, I thought I was giving up too much in the beginning, DeAndre and Drake for an unproven rookie. Pretty much. But now that the trade is done, I am very happy with the results. All right, let's go to our big... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just about to quickly say, the thing is what you've got to remember, historically, McVay has proven that if he has gold, he uses it. He doesn't change from it. He just finds out. He did it with Todd Gurley. Everyone was like, oh, he can't carry on with this like production. He can't carry on with this production. McVay made it like he will make Puka irrelevant in that team. Whereas the Falcons, we don't know what Arthur Smith's going to do. Might just bench Drake London next week if he fancies it.
Bobby Trees there for two or three seasons, he was getting 1,200 yards, 8 TDs a game or a season for the first 2 or 3 years under McVay until he got injured. So I like Puka. I like it. So our picks of the week, we will start with the lock of the week. All right, Pez, who is your 100% put your rent money on this team lock of the week?
For week 4.
For week 4.
Yeah.
It's worked in perfectly from slagging off Arthur Smith and the Falcons so much as I did, that my lock of the week is the Jags. At Wembley, in the UK, our UK adopted home team. They're gonna get straight. They're gonna get straight, and they're gonna batter the Falcons.
I would like to see Trevor Lawrence get back on track. I think he's an exciting player for the NFL, but he has not looked good this season at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my lock of the week are going to be the underdog Baltimore Ravens against the favored Cleveland Browns, the home team Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson will throw 3 interceptions, and the Ravens will run all over them all night. That is my lock of the week. Johnny, who do you have?
I will go for the Chargers against the Las Vegas. Believe it or not, I think they'll build on what they did at the weekend there and hopefully figure out how to keep on winning. And obviously the Raiders are just good at being useless. So
I think that's a solid choice.
that should be a good one. Like, so I don't know what the spread is in that one because there's nothing on the app, but I still think they'll make it hard for themselves. It'll be closer.
Spread
than
I've
they think,
got is
but they'll win.
4.5.
4.5 is what I have.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
The Raiders are just trash right now. I don't know.
Jimmy G is awful.
Yes.
He's awful.
He's
He's an awful
He's good.
quarterback.
He's good for the 49ers because they make him look good, but other than that, he's awful.
Exactly. But Shanahan makes any. Seeing go Sam Darnold could come in and he'd look amazing. It's fine.
Probably.
Trey Lance look good though.
Well, he couldn't do it with Trey Lance, apparently.
Precisely.
No. But I'm excited to see Purdy, busted every week. That's an exciting story, whether you're
That's a good one, yeah.
or not. The last person drafted coming in, QBing one of the best teams in the NFL and balling out. That's a great story. I do love it.
Yeah, it sickens me to say that he is looking good.
Underdog of the week, Pez. Who is your underdog pick of the week?
You know what? I was going to say Green Bay, but I'm going to change it because I've got a lot of love for the Texans. I'm going to say the Texans against the Steelers.
Texans. Well, I made a mistake, actually. My underdog of the week, well,
it's the Ravens.
Yeah, because the Ravens.
The Ravens.
Because you even
my
say
lock of the week
underdog.
My lock of the week were the Steelers. I'm taking Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, and Najee Harris with that defense, and they are going to come out on top against the Texans this week. The Steelers are
this
the
is
lock
a nice head-to-head.
and the Ravens are the underdog of the week. I am taking the Ravens to upset the Browns in the underdog of the week, and the lock of the pick will be the Steelers. I apologize for that.
I did wonder when you said my lock of the week is the underdogs, the Ravens. And I was like,
I did think that as well.
If we can't play at 6 o'clock in the morning anymore because it's in the evening for yourself.
It's not 6 o'clock.
Yes. And obviously, my underdog of the week, and I don't know how the hell they're underdogs, are the Dolphins. They're against the Buffalo Bills. So they're 2.5 point favourites, Buffalo Bills. But if the Dolphins play anywhere like they did the last, they're just almost unstoppable.
So,
the only way they're going to get stopped is stopping themselves. So.
I don't know what Vegas is saying more. That the Broncos are just that bad, so the Dolphins' performance means nothing, or the Bills are just that good. They
did look good, but they were
playing Washington.
I know they were playing, but look at that. I've got Howell as my quarterback in the Warrior Bowl Aragon division, and I probably would have won if I sucked Derek Carr in with only 7 points because Howell got minus 16 points.
Yeah, well,
Duke
Mueller will like your Dolphins underdog of the week pick. I'm sure he was happy this week. I haven't heard from him since the games, but I'm sure he was elated with that 70 points. All right, I think we have our last pick, which is the Monday Night Football. I think we're going to switch from Sunday Night Football to Monday Night Football, and we will have 2 games a week for the next 9 weeks, I believe.
Is it every week? Is it? Oh, wow.
Yes, they have added a game for the next 10 weeks. Well, it started last week. We'll have 10 weeks of 2 games. Because of the writers' strike, shows for ABC. They're going to simulcast against ABC and ESPN. All right, so we will start with the Eagles and Buccaneers. Johnny, who do you have?
Well, I'd like to say I'd probably go for the Eagles, but I could see Evans having a big game against that secondary at the moment. But it's Baker Mayfield, so I would go. The Eagles have got to sort it out eventually. Okay, they're too good a team not to get it sorted. And in my head-to-head in the Orkney Bowl, I've got AJ Brown and Arthur's got Devontae Smith. So as long as it's not a scoring like last week, I should win this week. Sorry, Arthur. So,
All right.
I'll go for the Eagles.
You're going for the Eagles. Statement game for the Buccaneers. If they can win this, Pez, they are saying, hey, Baker Mayfield is back. The Buccaneers are for real. Is it that week for the Buccaneers to make a statement, or are the Eagles going to?
No, I think the Eagles are going to show everyone where the Bucs actually are. I don't buy into any of the defense. Yeah, they still got a lot of pieces. They're still good, but I don't buy into the Baker Mayfield situation. Like, none of it. I just think the Eagles end up comfortably winning this one, and everyone's like, "Oh, right, okay."
I'm with you. I don't see the Buccaneers pulling this off. It is a statement game, but I think the Eagles are going to be the one making the statement, stamping their
especially
authority
after
on the NFC East.
Especially after Dallas and losing last night, they'll want to get that win to get the game up.
You had to remind me again, didn't you, Johnny?
Of course. We did what you couldn't do. We came back and beat them. So
40-0. All right. We have the Rams and Bengals. I will go ahead and make the pick first here since Paz has always gone first. This is another opportunity for the young McVay team to make a statement and say, hey, the Rams are not tanking. We are here to stay and compete for the season. However, I'm not feeling it against the Bengals if Joe Burrow is in full health. I am not convinced that Joe Burrow is in full health, and I'm thinking the Bengals might be having a struggle this year. I am making the pick of the Rams over the Bengals in Monday Night Football. Pez, what do you feel?
He doesn't want to say.
I don't know if I can say.
You can't do it. No.
Oh, the thing is, if Joe Burrow doesn't, it is simple. If Joe Burrow doesn't play, the Rams win because I think they'll destroy that quarterback. I think Aaron Donald will just get to him, destroy him. He'll have no confidence left, and then the Rams will just plod along and take him down bit by bit. But if Joe Burrow plays, but it looks unlikely, I reckon it might be a bit closer, but I can't see anything other than the Rams, really. I've got to say it. Yeah. It's disgusting, but, you know.
I'm not a huge Rams-type guy, rah-rah cheerleader fan. But I think Matthew Stafford is being way undervalued and underrated as a quarterback, as he has his entire career. I think McVay lost some luster last year, but people forget how he turned around this team from Jeff Fisher. An offense that was anemic, a defense that didn't have any life, and he turned them around. And I think this is McVay's time to shine. I think you're right. Johnny, who do you have?
Well, if we had managed to get our picks in this week, the Rams were going to be my pick of the week, my lock of the week. You got Puka, Atwell, Williams running. And the Bengals defense hasn't been overly as good as well. They've lost a few key players in the offseason. And like I say, there's a good chance that Burrow doesn't play. So I think even some of his teammates are saying he shouldn't play, just try and recover. So if they're saying that, it's not looking good for the Bengals this week. But,
and the Bengals have had, even when they went to the Super Bowl that year, they had a stretch where they struggled. And when they struggle, it seems they struggle for 3, 4, 5 games before they decide to come out and start balling. And Joe Burrow starts hooking up with Jamar Chase. I can see the Bengals coming back and still winning the division. But yeah, definitely the Rams. All three of us picking the Rams.
They're better giving them the week to recover. 0-3. They're not out of it yet because the division's still pretty open. And they've got the Titans next week. Just get them healthy for that and start the run from there. But right. I'm not the coach, so that'll do me. So.
And I think that wraps up our show for today. It is a little bit longer than I expected, but we talked about a lot of other topics. And so I think it was a great show. Pez, do you have any closing comments?
No, I think we've covered everything, to be quite honest, from my end.
Yeah. Johnny, any comments?
No, I hope whoever does watch it enjoys the show and our mock-ups as well as the good stuff. And we'll try and get better at it. But
as always, hats off to Johnny for all the preparation and hard work you do to produce this. A lot of people don't see the time and effort you put in. And, of course, Pez, thank you, as always, for taking time out in your afternoon to be here. Until next week,
always
my
a
friend.
Pleasure.
Later.
See ya.